Thank you very much for having me. Happy to be here.
Want to certainly get to the earnings and the outlook for this year, but what has captured many investors' attention, of course, is the possibility of a sale or some sort of transaction that would create value. How confident are you, given you're in the midst of this process, you hired an investment bank, that you will end with some sort of transaction that creates value?
Well, look, we feel that the marketplace is robust for our product. We have a vast library of intellectual property. We have a 10,000-hour plus library of matches that people seem interested in. And it's a company that is, in essence, its own sports league that somebody could buy, put it on their platform, or further expand what I think we're already doing. In addition to that, the library has certainly got good usage on Peacock with our existing deal there, and our hardcore fans remain interested in that. But it's all about the tentpole monthly events.
I've done a little reporting on this because it is of interest to certain people. What I hear, though, as well is, Vince McMahon is not just the founder, he's the lifeblood of this company to a certain extent. And there's no governing Vince McMahon. So any deal, you'd have to deal with Vince. Does that become a gating issue at all in terms of this process when those other buyers are looking to potentially take control, but really there's no taking control from Vince?
Well, by the way, you're right. It's very tough to take control from him. And he's built an empire, which has certainly been good by me and for me. But no, Vince has declared to the board, to me, to other upper management, he is 100% open to a transaction where he's not included in the company moving forward. I really believe he's looking for the best value for the shareholders. Keep in mind, he's also a large shareholder. And he's built an empire, which has certainly been good by me and for me. But no, Vince has declared to the board, to me, to other upper management, he is 100% open to a transaction where he's not included in the company moving forward. I really believe he's looking for the best value for the shareholders. Keep in mind, he's also a large shareholder. He's 77 years old, and I think he's ready to take a look at the landscape.
Is he involved in content creation? And I ask that because I know Triple H, the man known as Triple H, has been running that in recent months, but there's been some speculation, given his history of being involved very heavily, that he could once again do so.
Your research is deep on this. No, he's not involved at all. Vince is not involved at all. Triple H remains our chief content officer. We had our earnings call yesterday afternoon. He was asked that question, he meaning Triple H was asked that question and answered it honestly and candidly. Vince has had no interference in it since he left, since he came back. Triple H is in charge of it, and we have a terrific creative team around it.
What does putting the company essentially on the sale block while you're renegotiating TV rights, why does that make the most sense?
I think it makes the most sense because if we were to do new deals for Raw and SmackDown, our weekly programs, with, let's say, the incumbents, NBCU and Fox, it would take a number of buyers off the table. The digital companies, the FANGs, if you will, why would they want content that was going to live elsewhere for another 5 years or whatever it might be? So now is the right time to do it. Let's see what the results are on the strategic alternatives, and then we'll deal with the media rights.
In terms of strategic alternatives, I mean, a couple weeks ago, Wells Fargo said that strategics are likely limited to Netflix, Amazon, and our parent company, Comcast. Do you see it the same way?
Well, what do you think of the Comcast thing? Can you make that happen, or we don't?
I'm actually hearing probably not. I hate to say it, but at this point, although another name I do hear is Endeavor. The idea of bringing together, for example, UFC and WWE could be very robust. Might get a significant multiple in the marketplace. You can even imagine a somewhat complex transaction called a reverse Morris Trust. Is that a possibility?
Look, I think they're all possible, and we're still bullish on Comcast being possible. Obviously, there's only so much I can say about it at this moment, but we've certainly got a warm reception in the marketplace from people who seem interested.
What are your expectations in terms of timing?
Quick. And I'm not trying to be obtuse in saying that.
No, that's okay.
But I think it's going to be a pretty fast process, maybe 3 months.
How is the outlook for this year? I mean, obviously you shared it as well in terms of just what the ad market looks like, how you're doing in terms of ratings for your products, because your numbers for the fourth quarter were down year over year.
Yeah, understood. Look, we had record revenue in 2021, record profitability. We broke that record in 2022 with both revenue and profitability. We're on track to break it for 2023. We always talk about the 3 R's at WWE: ratings, relevancy, and revenue. We think all of those are up. So we think we're in a pretty good position at this moment.
How big is the opportunity internationally versus here?
It's huge. It's still untapped. UK, we have a robust deal. In India, we have a robust deal. Middle East, North Africa, we have a robust deal. But there's so many other parts that we haven't paid the proper attention to yet that I think we're now hyper-focused on, so I'm expecting great results there.
You've had a relationship with our parent company through Peacock, of course. How would you characterize what you've seen thus far in terms of the viewership on that platform?
A plus. Peacock as a partner, NBCU as a partner for our weekly show Raw and our weekly show NXT, phenomenal. And in terms of their push to get eyeballs, obviously they have an investment in the property that would help, them wanting to push that. Ratings are up. I think it's 45% year to year on our Peacock events. So we launched in March of last year, and by this March, they're through the roof.
And finally, I just want to come back to something you've already said, but I want to make sure I understood it. Because I do get pushback on the idea that Vince McMahon would ever step aside. But it's your belief that if the right deal is found, and that's a big if, he would be willing to do so.
100%, without question. And by the way, just to correct myself, we launched on Peacock in March of 21, not last year, so I apologize for that. But with Vince, 100% if it's the right deal, and I think we're all going to take a look at all of the factors that make it the right deal. If it doesn't involve him, it's no issue.
We really appreciate your stopping by. Thank you.